everybody, welcome. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing a bunch of Clinique makeup with you. So I'm going to get ready today using a full face of Clinique. Clinique is one of those brands that seems to get overlooked for the most part. For me, if you're new to my channel, I love Bare Minerals. Bare Minerals is one of my favorite brands, and Clinique to me is kind of like the aunt to Bare Minerals. They have sort of the same kind of like clean, fresh vibe going on, but they're just like a little bit more sophisticated. So that's kind of what I think of when I think Clinique. I have used a lot of different Clinique products in the past, but it's been a while since I've actually shopped Clinique and taken a look at what they offer. So I did that recently. I picked up pretty much a full face with the exception of a couple of products. This video is not going to be a first impressions video. I actually purchased these products a few weeks ago and I have been playing around with them, so I have thoughts on all of them that I will share with you as I'm putting the products on my face. I will also let you know how they wear as I go through them. I have a feeling this video might end up getting a little bit long, so let's just go ahead and get right into the makeup. Starting off with foundation, I have the Clinique Even Better Glow Foundation. This is $31 and you get the standard 1 ounce of product. I have the shade CN10 Alabaster. So again, I have been wearing these products. I have worn this foundation a handful of times, and overall I do like it. It's a true kind of medium coverage. It leaves your skin with a very sort of natural, luminous finish, which I like. I mean, that's exactly what it says. It says it's their glow foundation. They have a couple of different versions of the Even Better foundation. I know they have their original, and then they have one that I can't remember the name of it, but I think it's geared more towards people with oily skin, and that one's supposed to be a little more mattifying, and then they have this like glow version as well. So overall, like I said, I have been enjoying this foundation. It does have SPF in it. It has SPF 15. It has a combination of chemical and physical sunscreens in there. And in case I didn't say it already, I do have relatively normal skin. I'm not overly oily, I'm not overly dry, which is why I went for the Even Better like glow version, because it said it was suited most towards like normal dry combination skin. And I feel like it wears pretty well on my skin. It does get a little bit shiny throughout the day on me, but it's not bad, and it does wear really nicely. Like, it doesn't break up on my skin throughout the day. It stays put pretty well. So to apply this, as you can tell, I use my fingers to kind of smooth it out. This is how I apply every single foundation. I go in with my fingers first to just kind of distribute the product on my skin, and then I'll always go back in with a brush to just kind of blend it out and smooth away any streaks. And I find that it gives me, again, just a really sort of like natural, luminous, glowy finish. And again, I typically end up getting a pretty true like medium coverage with this foundation. Okay, so I've got one layer of the foundation on my skin. Again, as you can see, I've got a pretty true medium coverage. My skin looks really glowy and really luminous. The finish is just like the slightest bit tacky on the skin, but it's not overly dewy or anything like that. I do have to set my face with this foundation before I put any other products on top of my skin. So this foundation actually reminds me a lot of my L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow, and this is one of my favorite foundations. Just sort of the finish that it leaves on the skin, as well as the coverage and how it wears. Again, it reminds me a lot of this product. I think that's the reason that I'm not like over the moon excited about the Clinique foundation, is because I do think that I still like my L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow a little bit better. The Clinique that I have on right now, it does get just a little bit more shiny on my skin than the Infallible Pro Glow does, and I find that I get just a little bit more coverage with the Pro Glow as well. But overall, they're very similar, so I would say due to the price difference, I probably would recommend the Pro Glow over the Clinique version. But again, just knowing that there's a more affordable option out there that performs just a little bit better makes me a little bit more hesitant to give like a rave review on it. The L'Oreal version does also have SPF 15 in it too, so it's not like that's a benefit that's exclusive to the Clinique. Whoops. The only thing with the Clinique is that it is supposed to have, I don't know if it's a serum in here or what, but it is supposed to improve your skin's appearance over time. I believe, I just keep dropping all of these. I have not been using this product long enough to actually see results or know if that's the case, but supposedly this has an added skincare benefit in it as well, but still for the price difference, I would probably go with my L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow. Moving on to concealer now, I have the Clinique Even Better All Over Concealer. This is $26 and I have the shade Flax. I do actually really like this concealer. I think the one thing for me is the shade isn't quite right. I think I picked the wrong undertone. This one in particular is quite a bit yellow, so it doesn't match my skin all that well, which I think is kind of throwing me off just a little bit, but overall, it is a nice concealer. It is relatively full coverage, and it does have a nice sort of natural finish. I use this all over, so everywhere I would normally put concealer, including underneath my eyes. And the one thing that I like about this concealer, especially for under my eyes, is that it's not super dry. So if you've used Tarte Shape Tape, the one sort of downfall with that concealer for me is that especially under my eyes, it gets really dry. It's a great concealer. I love using it, except for the fact that under my eyes, it doesn't always look the best. And this one I find is just a little bit more natural looking underneath my eyes. It doesn't look overly dry or anything like that. So I have been enjoying this concealer as well. The other thing on this concealer is that it does have, if you lift off the cap, it does have this little sponge here, and I haven't used it. I don't know if it's like really necessary. It's kind of like, yeah. It's so small that it's kind of just a waste of time. I'd rather just like apply the concealer and blend it out with my brush like I normally do, but it might actually be nice if you just kind of like throw something like this in your purse if you need to touch up blemishes or something like that throughout the day. Having the sponge on the end for that kind of a purpose seems kind of nice, but it's not something that I would use on a daily basis to actually blend out the concealer. So again, I just pat all of this out with my fingers, and then I'll go back in with my little brush and kind of blend everything out and get rid of any streaks. Okay, so I've got the concealer blended out on my face now. Again, I just focused it on the areas that I had blemishes. I put it underneath my eyes and then on my forehead and on my chin just to sort of brighten up the center of my face. And it is very similar to the foundation in sort of the finish. It provides a very sort of natural, luminous, sort of glowy finish. I do think this would be a really nice alternative to the Shape Tape concealer if you are looking for something that is a little bit less dry in terms of the formula. So again, I have been enjoying this. So next up, this is where I'm going to cheat a little bit. I am going to set my face, but I did not buy a Clinique setting powder. I do buy all of these products myself, and so sometimes like when I don't need a certain product or I'm not looking to try a certain product, it's just kind of a waste of money in my opinion. So I'm just using my trusty Covergirl Professional Loose Powder. I'm just patting this all over to set my face. And then the other product I didn't get was a brow product. So I'm just gonna finish setting my face and then go ahead and apply my brows with my Covergirl Easy Breezy Brow Powder as well. All right, so now that my face is set and my brows are on, we are going to move on to bronzer. And I have the Clinique, this is the Powder Pop Flower Bronzer. I have mine in the shade Solar Pop, and this is $33.50. So with this bronzer, I will insert a swatch for you, but it does have a slight sheen to it. It's not glittery and it's not sparkly, but it's like a little bit luminous. And again, it just kind of has like a glowy sheen to it. So for me, the way that I have been applying this is as an all over face bronzer. I have tried to apply this as an actual contour, but just given the finish of it and the shade, it just doesn't work for me. It's a little bit too deep. So again, I've just been using this on a big fluffy brush as just kind of an all-over face bronzer to warm everything up. So this is another product that reminds me of one of my drugstore favorites, and that is my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. This Clinique version is a little bit darker than my butter bronzer, but as far as sort of the finish of it, the sheen that it has, the texture, everything like that, it does remind me of the butter bronzer. And I have to say that I do like my butter bronzer a little bit better. Again, I think that one in particular is just a little bit better of a shade match for me. This is a bit dark for my fair complexion. With the butter bronzer, I find that I can actually use it as a contour and it looks a little bit nicer than this one. So again, for the price difference as well, I don't think that this one beats the butter bronzer, unfortunately. It is a nice bronzer. If I didn't have the butter bronzer, I would probably, again, like this a lot more, but it just so happens that I have an affordable dupe that I prefer, so just keep that in mind. Again, that's not to say that this Clinique version isn't a bad bronzer, it's just that I have a more affordable option that I like just as much that I will probably be reaching for. So again, I just kind of like put this all over. I haven't really been paying attention to how many layers I have on my skin now because I've just been talking, but looks pretty good. Bring a little bit down my neck. I don't know if you'll even really be able to tell because I've got this high shirt on, but always got to even out the neck a little bit. So again, like I mentioned, this particular product does not work well for me as a contour. If you had a little bit deeper of a skin tone than I do, you might actually like this and find that it works for both an overall bronzer and a contour. For me, it doesn't, so I'm just going to skip the contour today. But before I move on to blush, I am actually just going to throw a little bit of this into my crease as well for the eyeshadow look. And as long as I've got this out, I'm just going to go ahead and throw a little bit of this on my lower lash line as well. All right, so our eyes are pretty much halfway done now, but moving on to blush, I have the Clinique, this is the Sculptionary Cheek Contouring Palette, and I have this in the shade Defining Berries, and this is $36.50. So this product is actually not new to me. I have had mine for a couple of years and I really like this. The thing that I like most about these Sculptionary palettes is the fact that it does have the 3 different shades in here. So depending on sort of the look that I'm going for or the mood I'm in that day, I can go for a really sort of light blush by mixing these 2 shades together. I can go for a medium tone blush and just dip into this one here. And if I really want it to be dramatic or deepen it up, I can tap into this one here too. I also can use this shade here, this very light pink, as a highlight. So it is a pretty universal palette, as it should be for $36.50. For the blush look today, I am just dipping into this medium mauve shade here. So I'm going to pop this on the apples of my cheeks. And then now I'm actually going to go into this light shade. Like I mentioned, I can use this as a highlight shade, so I'm just dipping into just that one, and I'm going to use this as a highlight on top of my cheekbones. The one thing that I forgot to mention is that this palette is not, it doesn't have glitter in it or shimmer, but it's kind of like the bronzer and that it's not totally matte. It does have, all 3 of the shades do have a little bit of a sheen to them. And actually, the more I'm looking at it now, this very deepest berry shade in here does actually have a little bit of glitter in it. So this is not a matte product. Again, it is kind of a glowy product that gives you more of a sheen. Moving back to the eyes now, I have the Clinique Lid Pop here in the shade Cream Pop. This is just a single eyeshadow and this is $19.50. I have to be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed in this shadow just in the color payoff. It's a very beautiful shade and it's got like, it's kind of like champagne-y, but it's also got a gold kind of shift, but it's quite sheer. You don't get a lot of color payoff. And I don't know if that's because of the like flower on here. I find that it's actually hard to pick up a lot of product, and it could just be, again, because it's got this flower pattern in it. I don't know if it's allowing me to grab that much of the product, but again, like, it's a really pretty color. It's just, I'm disappointed in the actual sort of like color payoff and pigmentation of this one. So I'm just going back in with a brush now, and it's really not giving me any better color payoff. I've only been applying this with my fingers when I've been using it, so I wanted to see if maybe it picked up a little bit better on the brush, but it doesn't. Overall, it is like a really pretty shadow if you're going for something that's really just a little bit more sheer on your lid. I think this is nice, but again, for $19.50, there's just nothing that spectacular about it, so I'd probably pass on this for the price. Again, I think that there are so many other single shadows out there that are more reasonably priced than this and that give you a better color payoff. I did also purchase an eyeliner, so this is the Clinique Quickliner for eyes. This is $20 and I have the shade Dark Chocolate. So this is one of those eyeliners that comes in like the twist up. It's not a traditional pencil where you have to sharpen it. So it does have a very fine tip. And then you also have a little smudger on this side, which I really like. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply a little bit of this to my upper lash line and then smudge it out with the smudgy end. I actually don't wear eyeliner all that often, but when I do, I like to smudge it out and make it a little bit softer and a little bit more smoky. So I do really like that this has the smudgy end on it. And as far as the formula of this, it is one of those that is soft enough to where you can kind of like smudge it out and work with it, but then once it dries down, it doesn't transfer, which is nice because sometimes when you have a softer eyeliner, it works for smudging it out, but then it doesn't set. And so then when you are blinking and stuff, you get that sort of line where it transfers onto your upper lash line. But this one doesn't do it. So it stays soft enough again at the beginning to be able to smudge it out, but then it does set down and stay put. So overall, I do like this liner as well. For someone who has small eyes like myself, it is also nice because the tip of it is very small and rather precise. So I've got it all kind of softened up on my upper lash line, and then I'm just going to take this little smudger. I didn't apply any product to my lower lash line, but I'm just going to take any product that's left on this little smudger and kind of apply it to the outer portion of my lower lash line. So for mascara now, I have the Clinique High Impact Mascara, and this is $20. So I just went ahead and applied one coat of this mascara to my upper lashes. Overall, I do really like this mascara. For me, what I like most about it is that the formula is relatively dry, and I find that drier mascara formulas are better for volumizing your lashes. When something is too wet, I find that my lashes sort of start to stick together and they clump, and then I get very like long, spidery looking lashes, which is what I don't like. I like my lashes to be overall softer and more full, a little bit more fluttery. I would rather have volume than length. So I do, again, I really like this. I'm gonna go ahead and just apply one more coat, and then I will show you what it looks like with 2 coats on the upper lashes. So again, these are my lashes now with 2 coats of mascara on the upper lashes and 1 coat of mascara on the lower lashes. I don't think I mentioned it before, but it does not flake or smudge on me, so that's a positive as well. And overall, I do think that this provides a very sort of soft and natural, like voluminous effect. That's typically what I go for on a day-to-day basis, so this product is a win for me. Last but not least for lips, I have the Clinique Even Better Pop Lip Color Foundation. This is $20 and I have the shade 03 Romanced. So with this product, Clinique has this thing where you can go on their website and type in your foundation shade for the Even Better foundation, and then it'll give you color suggestions for the lipstick and let you know like what's your nude shade, what's your day shade, and what's your night shade. So this for me, according to that test, I put in the shade of foundation that I bought, and this was supposed to be my nude shade. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this on. So again, this is the shade Romanced, and this is actually just their like original lipstick formula. I believe that they also have these Even Better lip color foundations in matte as well, but this is just sort of like the natural lipstick. I do have a little bit of lip balm on my lips underneath this, so it might be looking like a little bit more like juicy and moisturizing than it is. Even despite having a little bit of lip balm on underneath here, I can tell that this formula is very nourishing. It's very silky, smooth, it's comfortable to wear. It's not extraordinarily long wearing. I find that it's pretty average in terms of wear time compared to other lipsticks, which again, I've mentioned it before in other videos on my channel. It really doesn't bother me having to reapply lip products throughout the day. I think that's pretty standard. So again, overall, I would consider this lipstick a win as well. All right, you guys, that is going to complete our full face of Clinique. As with everything, we had some hits and we had some misses, so I hope that you guys found this video helpful and that you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below. Also, let me know if you have tried any of these Clinique products, or let me know which Clinique products are your favorites that you think I should check out. As always, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your support, and I will see you all in my next video.